Welcome to the Marvel Cinematic University podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Canton III, and we are here to grade. We are putting the university in Marvel Cinematic University as we grade the 2025 MCU projects. But one thing we don't grade is the MC University Patreon. We let you do that. Patreon.com/MC University Pod. You can get our bonus content, such as this past weekend on Saturday night. It was John Cena's final match. And a lot of people were mad. A lot of people were not happy about how that ended. So I went on for 20 minutes solo and I talked about kind of like my perspective on it and some of what I felt was radiating from the internet regarding it and how wrestling fans, the same reason that they're so nuts and how bad the world is when it comes to this type of stuff, it's also the same time of why wrestling's great because it brings out all of the different types of emotions and stuff like that. So if you want to hear something like that, plus our Schumacher and Burton installments of Batman, everything we got going on the Patreon, $3 for that. And of course, the Discord and the backlog of episodes that we have. And of course, if you're watching on YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe. And before I introduce our guest, I just want to say full programming note and disclosure. As far as the Avengers Doomsday teasers are going, they're doing this really funky. We go on each week that Avatar is in the movie theater, we're releasing a new teaser. 1 minute and change teasers every week for 3 weeks, and apparently after the third week, the fourth week will be the actual Doomsday teaser. So, and actually, you know what? We're gonna do like 2 minutes on it real quick. So, with that being said, let me introduce the super producer, Jake Christie. Jake, how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm excited to, put on my teacher cap and do some grading here. Got my red pen. I don't actually have it. I have a red pen somewhere in this room. I should have gotten it as a prop, but I'm not like you with a magnifying glass.
That's great. That's great. And of course, our pal, we leave the key under the mat for him every time, and he shows back up every time. We love him. Rob Morrow, aka the black guy who tips. Rod, how you doing, sir?
Good, man. Ready to grade some papers.
Wonderful, wonderful. So quickly, before we grade these papers,
Mm.
okay, so this Doomsday teaser thing, first of all, today has been a time. Today has been a time because everybody's so mad. They're mad about a movie, which, by the way, comes out in more than a calendar year, and you've seen 1 minute of a leaked, grainy footage of a teaser that just says, and I'm not going to spoil it for anybody, that says somebody's coming back,
Mm.
and people done lost their minds. Rod, I'm curious to just get this perspective from you.
Mm.
What do you think about the rollout?
Oh, first of all, I refuse to watch the leak, so I haven't seen it. Secondly, I do like that idea of a minute at a time over 3 weeks of Avatar, and it's because I love the movies. I love the
Yeah,
theater. This is cinema. This is another reason to go to the movies. A good and Avatar is the best of the this is why you go to the movies type of
yeah,
movies. Like and
agreed.
I don't mean that in disrespect to other movies. There are movies that are better, don't get me wrong. Um Even everything that Sinners did, Sinners doesn't have to be seen in IMAX to be good to you. Avatar does. So I'm with the shits. I'm like, yeah, I was coming anyway, James. Let's go, Marvel. So I will be there. And if it's good, if it's something that's enjoyable enough, I may come back and see the next week's minute or whatever. I'm totally fine with that. So yeah, I don't know. People just like being mad, bro. Don't we have enough to be mad about?
This is correct. I think
Yes,
the big
yes.
thing is I'm of two minds about it. I think that
Mhm.
the I do think that if they don't have anything else to sell the movie on in 6 months other than nostalgia of characters coming back, then I think that they're in some trouble because I think that rag has been run dry a little bit. I think that they do need to, I think, find a happy medium of getting people excited for this. But I think the actual rollout of doing it over multiple weeks is good and fine because the people that it's most for are not people who are going to be scouring Twitter for a leak, right?
Yes.
Like it's actually they want to build buzz up over a year and they want to have people talking. And I think to some extent, it is kind of an all press is good press thing because like it's not like when Marvel movies have not done well, it's not like they have bad buzz necessarily. It's usually that they're just not getting that much buzz. Like not that many people are talking about the Marvels, not that many people are talking about Thunderbolts. So like I don't know if it's possible for them to really generate bad buzz. And I also think that like if you were to do a poll, and I'm not going to say what the trailer was, I don't want to spoil it for Rod. But if you know it was a teaser, like start a teaser, call it a trailer is a misnomer.
It's a minute and 6 seconds.
If you were to do and most of it is like slow mo bullshit with no one on screen.
Yeah.
But I think if you were to do a poll and show people the teaser, and it's people who are like really engaged on comic book film Twitter, and randos who just happen to see every Marvel movie, I think the randos will be like, "Holy shit!" Whereas the people on comic book movie Twitter don't like it. Now, I think you do need to throw people on comic book Twitter a little bit of a bone because they are generally tastemakers, you know.
Mhm.
But it's also like people are overthinking this because they want to overthink it because it's gonna be one of the biggest movies ever, like in success or failure. So like it's a year out. They want something to talk about. I think Rod's right. There are more things to worry about. And for me, is even if I was made angry by what this teaser was, I just can't keep myself angry about a movie for a year. And I think anyone who's seems like they're planning on doing that, even outside, like this is not me saying as a Marvel stan. This is me as saying as like someone who wants you to be reasonable to talk to on the internet. Take a breather. Like you can't be mad about a movie for a year before it comes out. You can't be.
I just feel like a lot of the conversation to me is disingenuous. I think there's a level of people who complain about, well, why they show this character and this character? Well, maybe you should have gone to see their movie. Because
but in their defense, I think most people are saying that are people who see every movie. I don't. I think if you're on comic book Twitter, you've probably seen all of them.
But I will say, like, as somebody who notices a lot of like people on the internet who say I've seen a movie, sometimes
that's true.
Sometimes they don't really be going to the theater to see the movie. Sometimes they be, because the Marvels is the perfect example of this, where everybody all of a sudden was like, "Oh my god, I can't believe this movie was good. Why didn't nobody tell me about it, motherfucker? We've spent a month. Anybody who went and saw it was like, yo, this is pretty good. But everybody just said like, yo, we gotta trash this. We had to.
That's why I do think they need to throw a bone to comic book people, because the thing with the Marvels was it was the comic book movie people who were trashing it before it came out, and I think that just was like a bad, like, the thing about it is because I can tell from people who are not plugged in, the thing they what they'll hear is like, oh, I heard that was bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that the thing that Doomsday needs to avoid as it gets closer, I don't think this is a problem in 2025, is it needs to avoid that being the vibe, because the vibe is going to be against the movie in pretty strong ways because people are rooting for the MCU to fall at this point. And I'm not saying that in like a wistful way. It's the biggest franchise for a multi-billion-dollar corporation, like whatever. But I definitely think that the vibe, that people's reading of the vibe on it is unfairly weighted against it, and it is what it is. And so I think that they need to I think they need to give some affirmatively good vibes. But once again, this is a conversation that can happen in June of next year. This is a silly conversation that happened today.
Yes,
Yeah,
I think many people. Go ahead.
I think also one of the mistakes that companies make, and this happened with Star Wars for sure, but when you start chasing the vibes way too early, because you just make these people who are anti whatever too powerful, and it ends up like steering your ship off the, like, you just got to accept there's an anti-Marvel vibe that is popular and actually lucrative for certain people. You just sometimes you just gotta let them cook and be like, we're gonna serve the fans that we think are here in good, in good faith. And that's not gonna happen in a day. Meaning like this day in December a year from now won't mean shit. So, if your plan was we're gonna do the thing and you think it, then do the thing, drop the 4 teasers and and then we'll see you in 6 months when you actually have like more tangible stuff to do. But yeah, I don't want them chasing the vibe too much because I don't know. I feel like we've seen that with the Snyderverse. We saw that with Solo. Like you start chasing some of these people, and some people run. Like it's like if you go, oh no, we got something for you. They're like, actually, I'm moving the goalpost again. So just we'll see. And
it's true.
At this point, dude, they're so big. Like I don't even mean to sound flippant because it's an industry and people's jobs on the line, but like it's kind of too big to fail. Meaning like if let's say this thing comes out and it sucks, you're probably gonna make something else after that.
Mhm.
If at the worst case scenario is you're gonna start over. Like this thing will never not have Marvel. It'll always just be diminishing returns, and we're just in that phase, and that's okay. I'm sure the Patriots fucking 5th championship didn't feel as good as the first, and it's okay.
Yes, I would agree with that.
I don't know why you had to remind AC and I of the Patriots winning championships, but
I mean, he's an
I'm a
NFL
Panthers
fan too.
fan.
That's true.
He had to
fan,
look
at least
through
you
one of
your
those
the second
directly.
championship. But one last thing I'll say is now that
Yeah.
I'm thinking like this is extremely moot because the number one thing that's going to affect the vibe going into Avengers Doomsday is going to be the reaction to Spider-Man.
Right.
Spider-Man, what is it?
Brand New Day.
Brand New Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be like if that's heat, which I think it's going to be, then
Right.
like we're good.
That's a great point.
Yeah, I've always said like that being the lead-in is such a slam dunk home run, especially with kind of all of the positives that we've seen from it already. So, like, full disclosure for us, Jake and I offline were just talking about how we were going to do this. So basically, we're going to wait till everything airs, and then we can talk about it in full. We're not going to do the thing where we just go week by week by week. It just doesn't make sense to. You gotta have at least a little meat on that.
If you
bone to
haven't
discuss.
seen the teaser, there's just not enough for us to sustain.
Yes.
As I said to AC, it would just be us having metatextual conversations about the trailer, and I don't want to do that 4 times.
And you
Yes,
said
we will-
we'll be seeing the teasers in front of the Avatar movies.
Yes, and
Yes.
then inevitably they'll get released. I don't think you're
Right.
going to have to see Avatar 4 times. I mean,
Right,
shit,
right.
from some of the reviews I'm reading, I might want to.
Yeah, listen, okay.
I'm at least going to see it twice.
I want to
People-
live in that world with them blue peoples, man. I like that.
with the blue, yeah, man.
I like
Shout out to
Well,
Avatar.
the moment I heard that they were going to ash people, like fire people, I'm like, Big Jim, never stop.
Yes.
He's got his finger on the pulse of what we want.
Hey,
yes,
man.
yes.
I
I have my
today.
time carved out for next week. Yeah.
I saw something today where it was like James Cameron just officially became a billionaire like this week or something. I was like, that's because he be spending the money on the movies.
Yes,
That's my man.
and the deep sea diving. He's like, I'm gonna
Right.
invent my own type of submersible for no reason.
Right.
But yeah, it's funny. I actually because I'm flying home for Christmas next Friday. Well, sorry, this Friday, and my family is not big enough movie fans like for me to get them to go see Avatar probably, and so
Right.
I'm like, I don't give a shit. I gotta. Thursday night, I'm like, I should I be packing? Probably no. Lincoln Center, I gotta.
Gotta see it, bro.
I'm like, I can't wait till the 28th. Get the hell out of here. No, I gotta.
Gotta
Yo,
see
salute
it.
to you, man. If it was any other weekend, I know. I'm going Sunday. So like Sunday, I decided originally I was gonna go next Tuesday, but then I said because I'm off next week. But I said, you know what? Sunday, we going. We
Yeah,
going to
our,
the theater. Just gotta pick out a time.
Thursday we have a basketball game against the Hawks at 7, but like Avatar stars at 2.
Okay.
I'm looking at that clock like, okay, now I know you got the 30 minutes of trailers.
Yeah.
I know James like to make a long movie. I might can pull straight from the theater right up to the fucking arena. I don't know.
think you can do it.
I'm
I
gonna
think you should be all right. How far is the arena? The travel? What's
Probably
the travel
about 30
like?
minutes, probably about 30, 40 minutes.
Oh,
It's
you
gonna be close.
straight. I think it's
But
gonna be
it's-
close, but you're gonna be straight.
But I mean, because it's going like 3 hours, I'm doing the thing I did for Endgame, where I'm gonna be like SpongeBob when he's inside, Sandy's house, completely dried out.
Yes.
I'm gonna be technically speaking dehydrated, but
I think
it's
so.
gonna be great. I'm so excited.
That's the move, bro.
That's
I cannot wait. I'm glad I'm amongst company.
Yeah,
present,
man,
'cause-
I'm so excited. My man Payakon, oh my god, I'm so excited to see
Yes.
him again.
Let's go.
I remember the best thought I ever heard about any character is that comedian Patrick Monahan described Payakon as the biggest quote little guy in film history. He's the size of a whale, but he's a little guy though.
He's a
He
little
is, he's a
guy.
little guy.
That's my man.
All right, Avatar talk.
Yes, this is a fun discussion here. But yes, the reason why we're actually here, and also full disclosure, let me say this is the last main feed episode of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll get a brand new Road to Doomsday to kick off the beginning of 2026. We have something really fun planned. So I'm looking forward to discussing that. But we are here to grade. We are grading all of the MCU projects for 2025. And I figured we should start with shows first and leave the main event movies towards the end. With that being said, Rod, I would like your grade and a reason why your grade for Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man.
Oh man, you know what, man? I would give that joint an A, man. Like real
That
talk,
was my
it was
grade.
very creative. Love Coleman Domingo. I like there wasn't anything that happened in that show I didn't like. Everything I don't like about it was the voice actor that played Peter going on a podcast. Other than that, like if he never
I
did
forgot
that,
about
I
that.
just nothing but 5 out of 5. So yeah, I like that. That was a good little remix of the Parker legacy and all that stuff.
Yes, yeah. How about you, Jake?
I would say a B plus. I think that my big thing about it was I think that the animation was a little lackluster in the way that the animation for all these Disney shows is, unfortunately. I mean, except for X-Men '97. But I thought that Coleman Domingo really was great, and I really liked the way. I don't know that we talked about this at the time that we were doing the recaps. Is that it felt like a show that was very, very conscious of the the popular conception of Spider-Man and how he relates to all these characters, and it didn't subvert all of them, but it was like, we're not just gonna tell you the same Spider-Man story, not in like a it's gonna be a twisted version, but in like a we're gonna make some tweaks, we're going to subvert some things, but we're still gonna get there. Like Doc, Norman Osborn is still eventually gonna be a bad guy, but like that dynamic of making Norman his mentor is like, I love that. As it almost is like a what if, but in a cartoon. And I really enjoy that because like that's the type of thing that I think they do have the power to do with these side animation shows where it's like, yeah, I don't need to see that in live action. I do kind of want to see them play it a little bit straight in live action, but in a cartoon, that can be explored, and that is the thing. When we have a character that's this old, it was just a great mix of old and new. It didn't feel like a offbeat take on the character, but it had so many interesting avenues it went down. So I would say a B plus, and that's a lot for me given my general, my animation thing.
I will give this an A, and it's mainly because I thought the storytelling in this was sublime. I really enjoyed it. I thought not only the Peter portion of it and kind of twisting the whole mentor thing with the Tony Stark thing and putting Norman Osborn in that role, which I thought was really fun. Um, every time that they put in a cameo of somebody, it made sense. The Lonnie Lincoln story was, I think they did a great job telling that as a parallel to what Peter was going through in the origins of a hero to the origins of a villain. And that was really well done. I thought Scorpion was a great foil for the season. And kind of like all of even like the mini MCU connections to the Sokovia Accords, like putting that in there. That was a nice little touch on there. And even the way that they left the season with Doctor Strange being a part of it to a degree, that nice little twist that this occurred before, like the time portion of it was funny. Like I think they did a really good job overall of telling a story. Like I remember initially not having very high expectations for this, but as watching it, just becoming like, oh, I can't wait for next week because they're doing a really good job telling this particular story. So that's why, yes, I would give it an A. Very enjoyable. I'm looking forward to season 2. It's coming out next year, so that's gonna be a lot of fun for sure. All right, so the next project is Daredevil. Daredevil Born Again, season numero uno. Rod, what say you, my friend?
This one I give a B minus, but mostly because they had to fix so much from the original joint. Like it won't keep me from coming back next season. I actually expect next season to be like great.
Same.
Because I thought you could kind of tell the delineation of like what the new showrunners were able to do versus stuff that they were like, man, we already filmed this and we got to put it in there. It's almost like the second that they got those plot lines over with, they were cooking. Like as soon as Frank shows up, as soon as they get rid of Muse, like it really hit hard for me. And then like the inclusion of Kingpin having like that fierce strength when he cracked that dude's skull in half, like yeah, I'm so ready for this to return. But yeah, I'd be lying if I said that it didn't feel tonally like up and down this season. So I say B minus.
Yeah, I think that's fair. How about you, Jake?
I mean, I would say a B. I would say that the experience of being at KCBC with Hunter and watching you went to a couple of those, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Like that was actually like the best way to enjoy, any sort of thing like that. I'm trying to remember the name of the taco spot that I picked up tacos from, because those tacos off that store I would get before each one. Those were A plus. But I think that I absolutely agree with Rod that the downsides of it were where it was shaggy. But I think that the way it ended, like when it hit its stride, it really was like, it was just so great to see that character again, and it was like so great to see them finally understand TV. And so it, if I were to return to it and rewatch the series before the season 2, I am gonna definitely bump. I think especially rewatching it, I'll bump on the ways that it's shaggy again. No, like because at the time I kind of was giving it time and patience. But man, like when it was hitting, it's like, oh shit, this is just Daredevil. Daredevil's born again. I mean, what do you want me, And yeah, I'm really 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 excited for season 2. That's something that like I if season 2 is only a B, I'll be really disappointed.
Same.
I would absolutely agree with that. I gave it a B as well. I think that, to Rod's point, that start of it, I think the first episode I think was good, and I think the second episode got a little bumpy, and then it just got a little bumpy for a little bit. And I think even having the isolated Frank, because that Frank scene, by the way, like full disclosure, that was something that was added after the fact. It was not a part of the initial. It was not a part of the initial shoots. So seeing kind of like what they stitched and put together. Then you have that random burglary episode with Miss Marvel's dad there. So that was another thing that kind of like throws it off. So they had the kind of like the bottle episode there. But I think when they stuck to the core, when they got to the core of the Fisk Murdoch thing, and then you put the Punisher in the middle of that, that always gets fun. And I think shout out to Gandolfini's kid. I think he did a great job in that show. And I'm looking forward to seeing what he does going forward and stuff like that. And we'll see how they add things. But I thought strong close, rocky start, which is why I would definitely give it a B.
And that's the other thing too, is like nothing happened with that in that series that I thought was like bad. It was more like even like there is a version of that show with Muse that I probably love too, where he is the big bad, but it's just trying to blend two things where you got to get rid of this guy. He just ends up looking like a jobber at some point,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. I could even think of like small little moments, like when Matt ends up trying to defend that crook who was complaining about getting put back in prison all the time and how they won't let him, purchase things.
Dude, White Tiger. Like, I mean, that joint had some, I mean, nothing about it was bad. It's just, it's the business, man. It just shit sucks sometimes where it's like, hey man, fix this.
And sometimes it's not, and as it ended up, I'm glad that Charlie and Vincent went to them and said, nah, this ain't it. Like we gotta do it over. That takes a lot of stones,
I mean, it's not quite Aaron Paul not dying at the end of season 1 of Breaking Bad because of a writer's strike, but this is another example of a strike kind of saving a TV show. Because if they did not have that pause, they didn't have like that time to take a step back, then I think we would have got a much worse product. And I think that, we would not be excited about these characters.
Yeah, and now they look like they're gonna just keep on making seasons of Daredevil. So hey, man, that's the way to do it. It doesn't cost that much.
I hope they incorporate more characters into it, man, because I still feel like Echo was a good show and had fun moments, and that was a cool character. And if you're gonna bring her back into the MCU, that's a great place to fold her back in.
Mm-hmm.
I would totally agree with that sentiment. And speaking of other MCU characters, our next show is Ironheart. Ironheart, I'm looking forward to seeing, because we reviewed all these episodes together. So this will be a fun through line to come back to. Rod, what was your grade?
This one hurts a little bit, man, but I think I'm gonna give it a C- because of the ending. I really, really like. I enjoyed it overall as it was going, but that ending. If we never get a part two, I just feel like you left that character in such a bad place. Like, just it's like not even an anti-hero. I don't know what you're doing with that character, and it feels like Disney or Marvel or whoever just dropped it. Like, here y'all go. You know what I mean? Like it did. We know it didn't get a lot of promotion. It doesn't really
Yeah.
seem like she's blending into the other parts of the universe enough. Maybe Coogler in Black Panther 3 can like pick up the ball and like kind of save it. Cause with all these series, I will say, um, they always have the option of doing something in the future that makes me go back and go, oh no, that was good. You know, they've done that before with stuff, but yeah, this one, man, that ending just left a real bad taste in my mouth.
That's interesting. I'm gonna get to that when I talk about it, but I want to hear Jake. Jake, how about you?
Yeah, it's funny. I almost feel the exact opposite way. I gave it a C, but for the opposite reason. The thing that I stuck with it the most for me is the ending stuff. And the rest of it I found interesting, but and this might be on me. It just has not stuck with me. Like when I think about what I remember from the show, it's almost exclusively from the last episode. And I think I don't know. I think I could be convinced to bump it up to a C plus.
Can I ask
but I
you
do
a
think it's
question? Is it
sure
when you say the last one sticks with you, does it stick with you because of Riri or because of Mephisto?
both, but mostly Mephisto.
Mm.
But to be completely honest with you, I was not someone who was clamoring for a Riri Williams show going into it. Mostly
Okay.
because like the character is interesting to me, but not. I don't know. It's the show made me more interested in the character as it went on, and I thought that the stuff with the AI character was interesting.
Mm.
I thought that those, but in hindsight, I don't think that that stuff was handled as well as I would have
Right.
liked it to be. And I like and I also think that I would feel differently about it if it was released when it was supposed to, because I feel like if it was in much more close proximity to Wakanda Forever, if it felt like that it was likely that she'd have something followed up, because I think the thing that's implicit with what you're saying, Rod, is that like because it was released in mid 2025, it's much less likely that she's gonna have a follow up on it. And so yeah, I thought that the stuff with like Ezekiel Stain, I liked the stuff with the Hood. Yeah, but I mean it was a solid series. I have no real major complaints. It just I think when you want to talk about bad vibes, like the vibes around that show because of it getting moved a million times, because it got not much promotion, I think that affected it. But you know what? I'll bump it up to a C plus because I'm realizing I shouldn't be holding that against it. I'll say C plus.
I'm going B minus. The reason why I kept it B and not lower, and it's not just because of the ending. I just think there was a level of ambition. I felt like
Mm.
I forget about the promotion. I forget about the lack of promotion, and I think about just what happened in the show.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the fact that they were willing to try and do something different with this character really spoke to me. Having the AI conversation before the AI conversations were really going on. This was a few years ago. So I think that was another part that I enjoyed. You mentioned the Zeke Stain stuff. I thought that was good too. The Hood stuff was good too. Um, do I think that if this show was in 2022 and we saw it in 2023, would this be bumped up to like an A? Yeah, I think it would. I'm much more bullish on this show than most, mainly because I feel like they really said we're gonna go for something here, as opposed to kind of playing it safe. That ending is kind of an insane ending to do.
It's an
Just
insane thing
because,
to do on a show you're dumping. I mean,
yeah, because Mephisto's a big deal. And to
Right.
put him in this particular character's boat was a fascinating decision, just generally speaking. And then if you really like take a look, because I think the fun thing that we were able to have when we had those Ironheart conversations was diving into the psychology of this Riri Williams person,
Mm-hmm.
who is just like, her audacity is insane. Like it really is insane. It's like, what makes this person tick to the point where they believe, or she believes, that she can just go through any situation and figure it out on her own, and it leads her to making one of the worst decisions possible. Now, I will say this as far as like the how it could look going forward after this. we had a fun conversation last week, Rod, on as far as the Young Avengers. We did a Road to Doomsday on the Young Avengers. So we said if they had something that they wanted to put in the hopper and really cook with this, and kind of ease your concerns about not continuing this plot line, do a Young Avengers thing. Riri get involved, and she's dealing with the Mephisto thing, and put Mephisto right in there, and then that's your villain, and that's your story. So like that's just like potentially that would be something I want to see, but to keep it present and keep it in terms of the show, I think sometimes I want to give credit to something that tries to do something as opposed to something like Secret Invasion, which told me nothing and did nothing. So like that's where I'm more friendly in terms of giving this a B minus as opposed to hitting it for stuff that quite frankly was not in its control.
Oh no, I respect all y'all's ratings. I think it's just I can't escape the feeling that if this came out when it was supposed to, we would have got that part.
Agreed.
Too. You can just feel that this was not a complete vision. And so I think I'm dinging it for the fact that I don't think they're gonna fix it. Like if it's like well, we'll talk about this later, but it's like if Falcon and the Winter Soldier, that was just it. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, well, y'all have work to do. That character's not fully realized yet. And that's how I feel with Riri. Is like y'all, it's pissing me off because I am a Riri fan. I did read Ironheart. I was looking forward to this. I was so excited when she showed up in Black Panther 2. So to me, it's like do y'all not give a fuck? Because if y'all didn't give a fuck, then don't give a fuck. But don't give me half of a character's arc and then be like, all right, that was enough. It's not enough.
It's the Kevin Garnett meme.
Yeah,
basically, it's the Uncut Gems. Yeah,
I hope Ryan Coogler show up and be like, so y'all know you be finishing this, right? Because I did Sinners and y'all want me to do Black Panther 3. So part of the caveat is that I'm finishing this story.
I mean, I think that definitely is on the table. Because I can say this. A good example of how this will happen is lots of people have been joking about the existence of a movie called Ella McKay that came out last weekend. I saw it. And feel like, how did this movie get made? This movie's like a studio comedy that has like an actual budget and actual actors in it. Why did they make this? And the reason they made it is because the guy who directed, James L. Brooks, is the main producer on The Simpsons. And the trade was, if you allow us to make a second Simpsons movie, we'll greenlight anything you want. And so I think that Ryan Coogler would make a simple trade of like, if you want me to write and direct Black Panther 3, you could greenlight a couple episodes of Ironheart.
Come on.
Like Disney, I mean,
I'm with it.
Fair trade.
I keep my fingers crossed.
I
love to. What the hell just happened here?
Actually made a hand gesture that caused animation on here.
What?
I crossed my fingers and a bunch of balloons came on the screen.
What is that?
It happens occasionally with some. I don't know.
What?
Do I have the
That was
power?
crazy. We've been doing this show so many times.
Yeah.
That never happened before.
No, it happened. It's happened a couple times.
Because sometimes I think the thought bubble will when you do the thumbs up before.
But anyway, hey, you fill it up, balloons.
Good Lord. Oh man. Okay, so we move to Eyes of Wakanda. What's funny, y'all did a great episode on it in the summertime. I wasn't available for it. So I do want to hear y'all's grades after y'all's discussion. So Rod, how about you? What you got?
Oh man, this joint was an A, man. It had a couple episodes that were like I don't want to say procedural, but like everything was just like cool. The problem with this one was, once again, the release timing. Felt like it was 2 years too late for it. So like it doesn't feel attached to anything. But the way they told the story with these anthology type things, it doesn't need to be attached to anything. Like I'm not looking for these characters to show up again and be like, what happened with that? Very fun, very cool. I am an animation guy, so this animation actually looked good to me.
That's true.
And so I fucked with it. I love stories about Wakanda that don't deal with too much outside of Wakanda. Like Wakanda is the central focus, where like, yes, it may have to deal with characters like the Greek story they told, but it's still mostly about how did this affect Wakanda, not how did this affect the rest of the world. I really did enjoy this one. This was an A for me.
And how about you, Jake?
I would say it was a B for me, but I think that's mostly just because my animation bias, and also I think that it and I think I remember saying at the time that I wish that there was more of a context it was in. But I'll say it's like for what it was trying to pull off, I think it did exceptionally well. I just don't know if I was necessarily like needing it. But also that's I don't know, that's a dumb criticism. I don't know. I give it a B because it didn't knock my socks off in a way that if I want to give something an A or higher, I want to say that. But I definitely was glad it existed, and it's the type of thing that I will keep clamoring for Marvel to do, where it's like just do 4 episodes of something, like just do it, like you have all the money in the world.
Yeah. I gave it an A minus, and I just think that the way that they did this and the anthology portion of it, I enjoyed, and even kind of like the ties to what the actual MCU timeline was interesting at the end. But I will say more so than anything else, when you examine the Wakandans, you really think about it. It's like, a lot of them are like the Jedi, and a lot of and there's like a little Jedi and Sith thing going on with these dissenters. And you think when you think about it from that perspective, it becomes more interesting as you see it play out in these movies and these shows. So to see that play out in the shows as I can't remember the woman's name who we see through the first couple of episodes kind of grow into her own. But that
Noni?
portion, there you go. So that portion of it is a nice way as she in the first episode she goes up against that dude who's just like the Wakandans they have their ways and all this other stuff, and it's like you really think about it because it translates to the end too, as you kind of have these people who want to play outside the lines, and the Wakandans look at that as no, loyal to us, loyal to the creed, loyal to how we do this, and that's it. And is that really the best way to go about things? I don't know. But I think the fact that they're willing to tell that story and show that there's a lot of gray in these lines, that's why I continue to
What's
enjoy as
dope?
they lay
What's
that
dope
out for
about
us.
the Wakandans is that they're not heroes. Like this is
Yes.
not they're not Avengers. They're not here to save the world. They're here to just do shit for Wakanda. And that whole
Yeah.
series ends up culminating in like, if you only do shit for y'all, aliens will come and destroy the fucking earth. You
Yeah.
guys gotta open up your horizon a little bit to the rest of the world. And so I love those lessons like that. I'm reading Brian Edward Hill's Ultimate Black Panther right now, which is an amazing comic.
Okay.
And it only focuses on Africa and what takes place in Wakanda. And like those stories are fascinating to me because, like you said, it's a bit Jedi. Like, because how people look at the Jedi. There's people that like Star Wars and they go, "Ah, Jedi, the heroes." And then there's people like me that know Star Wars and they go, "Jedi, the cult." And that's how Eyes of Wakanda felt to me. Where it's like it's not a worshiping of Wakanda. It's a like it's treating them like like a actual culture, like a place that exists and goes, oh, they make some decisions that are very selfish. They have
Yeah.
some rules that are very like not democratic, not and it drives people to resist in different ways. So yeah, I like I said, this one hit for me, and I came into this with very low expectations because it
Same.
didn't get much promotion and it had been so long since we had gotten anything Black Panther. And I said, oh, they're just dumping this too. And I was like, oh, I actually like that. So liked it.
I think the thing that actually really was valuable to it in the context of the MCU at large is that it made clear that T'Challa's epiphany about Wakanda, he was not the first person to notice it. And I think that that's kind of essential because it is hard to believe, in the same way with the Jedi, like it's hard to believe that if everyone would just be accepting this and like the Jedi, it's the same thing where it's like there's these traditions and customs that have served them really well, but it intentionally blinds them to things that are going on because there's no flexibility, right? That like
Right.
you are actually you're creating your own enemies over and over and over again. And I think the idea you get from that show is that like they've been able to keep that in check for the most part for most of the history of Wakanda, but that doesn't mean that it's been rainbows and sunshine until Killmonger decided to come along. Like, no, their rigidity has caused problems before because of course it does,
Yes.
because that's how any society that's organized that way people will rebel, and if you don't have like room to like expand to deal with that, then yeah, you're gonna have issues.
And
Yeah,
they were,
I
and
would
the last thing I'll say too, even with that animation
Mhm.
style, they were murdering people.
Yeah, it was
Yes.
Like
it
they
was a
were
real
killing it.
TV-14 situation.
Yeah, it caught me off guard a bit because, like, you know, Spider-Man wasn't murdering people in that motherfucking in that Spider-Man TV show. I was like,
Mhm.
oh, I think that's no, you can't impale someone and they get up from that. What is this show? So yeah, I enjoyed those deadly motherfuckers, the Wakandans.
Yes. Fun show indeed. And we have finally for the shows Marvel Zombies. Marvel Zombies. Very interesting. People had some were very mixed on this and divided on this online. But
Hmm.
Rod, what did you think of Marvel Zombies?
As always, I missed whatever the conversation was online. You know, I pretty much only talked to you guys and my wife about Marvel shit. So I
That's a
didn't
good
know.
call, I would say.
Yeah, man, you know, every once in a while you find fellows, you know, birds of a feather. It's like, let me fuck with them. I respect y'all opinion. If y'all don't like something, it's always well reasoned and stuff, you know. If y'all do like something, same.
Mhm.
Anyway, for this joint, man, I felt weird because I don't think I was as high on it as like some of my friends who were like, this motherfucking shit is amazing. But at the same time, I thought it was really good. I probably give it a B plus. You know, like
Mm,
I think the main reason I give it that score is because the character work was so good. Like it's there,
mm,
none of the characters are really in there for a long period of time. Like the way they're just turning, the way they're just turning these motherfuckers to zombies,
Mhm.
dog. like you ain't getting too much.
Zombie a la carte.
Yeah, don't get too attached to nobody, bro. But like
God damn.
that made it feel dope that like it felt like survival horror with Marvel characters where you really were like, I actually don't know who has plot armor and who doesn't. And that's such a rare thing in comic books, right? Like comic books, whoever's on the cover, motherfucker ain't gonna die. You know what I mean? It's just those are the rules.
Yeah.
And this joint, it was like anyone could get it. And man, and then the last thing I'll say too, it was so funny. Like as
Yeah.
dark and just like depressing a reality that world was, I found me and my wife were on the couch and we're just laughing out loud at certain character moments. Yeah, man, I thought they cooked on this joint, man. Like B plus. I don't like I said, I didn't see what the argument was that said it was whack trash, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah. How about you, Jake?
So I would say a B. I think that I like the early stuff a lot. I love the interplay with Riri and Kamala and Kate. I thought that was great. I like the stuff where they first brought in, Red Guardian and all that. My big complaint ultimately was that, like, the way that the characters whittled down, like, who we ended up with, I thought was kind of mishmashed. And the
Mhm.
way that it ended up being, like, it felt like it had the Marvel TV show problem, even though it was only 4 episodes, where, like, when I'm going to Marvel Zombies, I don't want it to be Infinity Hulk versus, like I didn't need the scale that much. I was actually kind of disappointed how I wanted the world building of it. I wanted and honestly, this is all my fault. I was expecting
Sure.
things, but I kind of was like the idea of like replacing all these Marvel characters into a zombie world context. We got bits and pieces of that, but then once the plot realities of these zombies all being controlled by the Scarlet Witch came into focus, that required some decisions to be made with what the story ended up being about. That I was kind of like, okay, like that was a fun lark. I mean, obviously they can continue to do more. I like the cliffhanger was really cool. But like it did feel ultimately like it felt like more than just an extended what if episode, but it also did not feel like the whole like I'm telling my friends who watch the MCU occasionally, you gotta rush and watch Marvel Zombies. And like I think the ideal version of it is like, holy shit, you'll never believe what this character is doing in the zombie world. Like, and that didn't happen in the show so much.
Okay, for me, I went B on this. And again, I like things that try to go for it. And I think the cliffhanger was going for it in terms of ambition of trying to the idea that the heroes don't win and Scarlet Witch ends up being like super powerful and what a shock. Scarlet Witch ends up being like not only OD powerful but evil at the same time. So like that's an interesting
You're
story.
telling
And
me
it's
this for the first time.
so like that part is interesting. I think you put Kamala Khan at the center of anything, and it's going to be something that's entertaining and that people will like. There's a reason why they had her as kind of like the main character of this, because it just worked. She's a great character, and I think for me, and I wouldn't necessarily call this an issue. I will say this much though, because as kind of like a sidebar, because of the Black Panther conversation that occurs. And what was interesting is they were asked, the producers of this show, like, why did they not have somebody else voice T'Challa when he fought Thanos, and they just had Peter Parker's character narrate what he might have said and things along those lines. And I just thought that, okay, guys, we don't have to do this anymore. It's okay. You can get somebody else to voice the character. I think it's just something as simple as that. There's a difference between reverence and just taking away the entire agency of the T'Challa character, which I think they did a little bit of a disservice in that sense. I get the respect, and I totally understand it. In most cases, I endorse it. But I think in this case, after it's I
And
think
it's the
time has
voice.
passed. It's the voice.
Because it's if every other person in that show was voiced by the person, like, but like Rachel Weisz isn't there, you
Right.
know. Who else was? A couple other people weren't there. Like they didn't get Mahershala, you know, to do like, and so they didn't get Tom Holland. I mean, legally they can't get Tom Holland. So like I understand both sides of it, but I do think that the moment, I think the thing that's a tell to me, not a tell, but like the thing that's like, okay, is you say it's narrated by Peter Parker, but that Peter Parker is not the actor who plays Peter Parker in the MCU.
Right.
And so it kind of highlights, okay, well then this is clearly not the same thing. Now, if it was everyone in live action, I would completely understand, but I think like sound-alikes in animation spin-offs have existed for longer than like that's been a thing since like they made the fucking Ghostbusters cartoon. Like this is not a new phenomenon.
Yeah, it's okay. Like you don't have to do that. Like it felt like they were just doing too hard, doing too much to try and like go through something that they may feel is uncomfortable. That's not at this point. I don't think.
How
I
long
think there is.
ago was this one in production? Like, was this another? It could have came out a couple years ago.
This was a 2020. This was a late 2022 2023 thing. So this was probably, I would say, after Wakanda Forever came out, and in the midst of season 2 of What If, when they decided to do that.
Yeah,
like
I
when
wonder if they
decided to do
got
season
freaked
2.
out. I wonder if they got a little freaked out by the whole replace T'Challa, recast T'Challa thing, and just went, ugh. You know, like just like we don't want to start no shit, and just ended up accidentally starting some shit by trying not to start some shit. You know what I'm saying? Because I hadn't heard this was a critique of it, but I can see how, if you like, I try to go into the room of the who was writing this, who came up with this, what was why do you do this? And I imagine they maybe overthought it and was like, we just want to be sensitive.
That's
then
where I land on
once it came out, they went, oh damn, people got mad anyway. We should just fucking just did the voice then.
Yeah, my point is it's okay. Like it's like I feel like it's okay now. You don't have to. I feel like you don't have to pussyfoot around it. It's like
AC,
it's all right to.
Do you feel like it won't fit? Well, let me say this. I feel like it won't officially be okay until Ryan Coogler does something. Like I feel like they're waiting on his whatever, like whether it's in this new Avengers movie, if he has to give his thumbs up to like some sort of recasting or whatever. I feel like everyone's kind of been waiting because he's the big dog and that was his man. I wonder if they're waiting for him to have a say, and then they're like, okay, it's back. Let's go ahead and cook with this character.
I think just based off of the stuff that I generally hear about this thing, is that I'm gonna guess that Secret Wars we will see a new Black. We will see a new version of T'Challa. I think Doomsday. Right now. They got so many things going on with
Right.
that one, but Secret Wars feels like the place where you add them. So then you go into Black Panther feeling like, okay,
Yeah.
this is a new character,
And
and
I
then you
can
can
only
establish
imagine that is going to have Ryan Coogler's seal of approval. Like whatever they
Absolutely.
Oh
do,
yeah,
whoever that character is, whatever they decide, that's a Ryan Coogler joint. So I just
because he's already said he started working on it. So
said
like,
he's
this
excited
is
about it, like which
yeah,
is big for Marvel.
I mean, the fact that Ryan Coogler, after the success of Sinners, is not like dragging his feet about Black Panther 3 and is excited to do Black Panther 3. Because I can tell you this, all the film Twitter friends I have are not happy about that. They're like, he should be cashing that blank check. He's just like, and so the fact he's choosing to do Black Panther 3, that's the thing I said about Ironheart, that Disney's got to be like, Mr. Coogler, whatever you would like. Whatever
Yes.
you would like.
Yes.
They absolutely should. So, I mean, like to kind of like close out the Marvel Zombies portion for me. Yeah, I think just overall, I think some of the stuff that you mentioned, Rod, about the way that folks turn into zombies, it just happens so quick and stuff like that. It was just like it was going a mile a minute at
Yes.
one point. The way that Yelena went out was crazy to me. I was just
Dog.
like, why you killing her so quick? That's crazy. What are you doing? But just generally speaking, I think there was just some cool moments. I think Jake's great point, great point about MCU TV shows and the whole like we gotta do the laser fight thing. Like it's a zombie show.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
you ain't gotta do the laser fight thing in a
I
zombie
think
show.
I
It's
think I'm
not.
realizing why, like looking at my grades, what it is. I
Yeah.
really like the things they do that at this point that aren't attached to other things.
Hmm.
It was like we're not trying to serve a greater narrative. We're not trying to fold these people into anything else. You know these characters. You know what we want to do. Let's cook.
Yeah.
You know, because now I'm looking at my grades. I wrote them down, and I'm like, oh yeah, I guess because I'm looking at Ironheart. Like, how you gonna fit this into the? But with like the other ones, it's just like, oh nah, Wakanda. That's it. Like we don't need no more of this. We don't need no less. You get it.
Mm-hmm.
And same thing with zombies.
Yeah, and
They really did this zombie thing the way the comic books of Marvel zombies are. It's like we're here to kill your favorite characters and move the fuck
Yes.
on.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yeah, and yeah, I just think that like overall, and this kind of the thing with Marvel and the idea of this connected universe and how some people actually are not that keen on it staying always all the way connected has been something that's grown in the community and is an interesting thing that I wonder if they should explore in the next few years. I think that's something that they should think about. Like, I mean, just for me personally, like something like Werewolf by Night. Just give me some of that. I'm
Right.
cool with it.
I mean, it's been too long. I need my friend, my close personal friend, man thing.
Yes.
I need him to be back on screen. I miss him a lot.
Yeah, man, that was a fun time. I actually, yeah, I gotta give that one a spin again.
And
You
I
need to
just
tell me that
need-
Giacchino doesn't have the heat off of the Fantastic Four soundtrack to get him something. Come on, stop it.
Yeah, exactly.
And
What
I
were you
just
gonna say,
need
Ryan?
Kevin Bacon back for Christmas, man. That's
Hell,
That's my one
Oh
wish.
man,
honestly, bring him and bring Kira back. Bring Kira Sedgwick.
Yeah.
Get her. Get their daughter Sosie. She's got that smile burn. I mean, shit.
Yo, shout out to that Guardians holiday special. That was a fun time too.
Yeah, I might
man.
give her a spin this Christmas season.
Yeah, that's a good call. Oh
Yeah.
man, but yes, that was it for the TV shows. Let's go to the main event, the movies. Captain America: Brave New World. Once again, if you're a new listener, go back and listen to the pod that Rod, Jake, and Howard Bryant did earlier this year. It was a fun episode. Rod is making faces. Let's see what you got, brother.
I hate to do it to him. I hate to do it to him because
No, you got it though. You got it because if you look what great inflation has done to our culture, you got it. If it's
Right.
bad assignment, you gotta.
You gotta give it what it is, man. I give this joint a D. Honestly,
Okay.
Man, like it's and like I don't. It's no one person's fault. It's just the
Yeah.
conflagration of issues that just, you can feel in this movie. Like it
Great point.
just
Feel
it's
it.
it's too much stuff where you're like, what? Not well. Why is this happening? That was like, you can feel there's characters who were cut out. You can feel characters were inserted. It's not smooth enough to where you don't notice it. It literally occupies your brain when you should be following the plot. I'm not even gonna knock Sam Mackey and him not being the superstar or whatever. Like, because I actually don't know that that's true, because I watched 2 seasons of Twisted Metal, and so if I can watch that shit, he got something. I don't know if it's it, but he got something. This
And
character, it's
that we don't know. We never will know.
but whatever it is, this movie don't tap into it. You know what I'm saying? Like this, whether ironically or not ironically, they just don't really seem to know what to do with the dude. And the only reason it's not an F, honestly, is because like Carl Lumbly gives a great performance. We do get like a cool Hulk fight at the end, even though he talks the Hulk down from fighting, because that's his superpower. Is he's a normal guy that know how to talk to people. It's yeah, man, I can't. That's what I
got. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, you haven't said anything that's not true. My grade is, I was between a D and a D plus, but I'm gonna say a D, because I'm gonna say this on my rubric: an F is the worst that the MCU can be. Like, an F is not like the worst movie a movie can be. Because if it was that, I would give it a little higher, because it's like there are competently made action scenes in it, and it's has explosions and superheroes in it, so I like it generally. But it is like, you're so right with how you can feel it, and like it's a thing that not normal audiences can feel it, because like the thing I think I was less surprising people was talking to them about how much reshooting and how much turmoil there was on the set of Rogue One, a movie that people enjoyed, and people were like, really? I couldn't tell. It's like, that movie was mostly half shot by a different director who didn't get credited, and like it was like 6 months before the movie came out. Like I had no idea. And I genuinely think that if you were to show Captain America: Brave New World to someone and say, like, what do you think, like, how do you think that movie was made? I think that there were some issues on the set. Like, it just does not feel conventional in any, like, it doesn't feel competent in terms of the way the story is told.
Yes.
And that is a thing that I think we very much take for granted with the MCU, even when the MCU has to fill things with, like, fix things up with duct tape or whatever. Like, it's still a standing structure, whereas this, like, it does feel like they weren't able to stick the landing. And like, that's so much of what you forgive the MCU sins when they stick the landing on a movie. And as you're talking about, the big climax is the Hulk getting talked down by Sam Wilson, and like the leaders, are just as arrested, easily. It's just like, they didn't stick the landing. It's not the end of the movie is actually one of the worst parts of the movie, which is one of the worst things a movie can have. So yeah, but we got Red Hulk, and we got it's so stupid how much controversy there was over the what's her face, the Shira Haas's character. The character truly can be taken with tweezers, because she's that small, taken with tweezers and plucked out of the film, and no one would notice.
Yeah, that's incredible. As so much
of a headache for no reason.
As I said, way before that movie came out, it's like, of course they had to put the Israeli character in the middle of the Black Captain America movie. You just had to, didn't you? Just had to. You just had to do it.
The thing what's funny about that character is that she was not nearly as bad as it could have been, because it was supposed to be Sabra, apparently. Which would have been,
they were going to do the whole thing.
It would have been way worse if they went with that version, by the way.
And they got wind of what people were there, and they're just like, all right, come back up.
But it is super weird they didn't cut the whole character out. Like that's just like that editing choice serves no one. Like, you take all the flack building up to the movie coming out, and then you'd have none of the payoff of having that character in there. And she was so little, man. I hate to be a sizist, man, but like, she was so tiny that she was not a threat.
As the son of a mother who is 5'0", she is very tiny. And the same way that my mom would not be a threat to anyone.
Right.
She would not be a threat.
Like, it's not I know they do that thing because, a lot of actresses are like 90 pounds or whatever, because they have to be in Hollywood. But like, the thing where it's like they flip off a wall and they flip over you and then they did that. Like, even that didn't work with her, because she's so little. You don't buy that she can even do that.
she's not just short, because things like Florence Pugh is tiny, but she's
Right.
built like I think Sean Fantasy once said, she's built like a fire hydrant. You're like, yup. She honestly, I believe that she has the core strength to choke someone out.
Right.
Like this, she is 90 pounds soaking wet. Like there's no way
Right.
she's doing anything.
Yeah, it's the uncanny valley, man. It's the difference between like Taken 1 and Taken 2 or whatever. Like when you watch those movies and you're like, oh, in this one you look like a 70-year-old man. No, you can't beat any of these swarthy Europeans up. You're gonna get your ass whooped.
You ever think about how that you're thinking that and Liam Neeson's still doing action movies 15 years later?
Bro, direction is a motherfucker, dude. Like directing, like motherfuckers ain't no stunt choreography. It's because literally in whatever that Taken 2 or 3, I forget which one it was. There's a scene where he mushes a dude to death, and I'm like, come on. Come on, man. Y'all stop trying, man. That's not my fault.
No, it's not.
Oh god, but yes. All right. So I give Captain America a D, and I just think, and I made the point about there's only so much surgery that you could do on a movie before it's like, all right, the patient's dead. Like you can't bring it back to life. It's over. It's like, don't do it. Come on. Like enough is enough. And that's what this movie felt like watching it. And I can tell you, like, see, here's what I knew at the beginning. I was like, oh shit, this ain't gonna cook for me. Is when at the very beginning they do the heavy, obvious exposition dump of when the newscasters are doing the whole, do you remember back in the Incredible Hulk when this happened with the Abomination and the fight? And then Betty was estranged from her father. It's
like political news. It's like for political news, this is the new president. What do we need to recap? Okay, the fight with a super villain in New York. Honestly, that's probably on his biography. His daughter being estranged. Yeah, that's number 2. That's the second most important thing about this political figure.
So robotic.
Also,
it is so robotic.
The other part that's crazy. And this is how you know the movie was doing whatever the opposite of cooking was. When his daughter shows up in person at the end, I was like, why? Like that was that was supposed to make me feel like, oh, she really love him. I was like, why are they filming this? Why did they go get her from whatever she was doing?
It's like, why? Do you mean to tell me that Liv Tyler wasn't? What, they flew her out from the set of 911 Lone Star? Like, what the fuck are we doing, man? No,
right.
to take. Hey, so you were joking that it was the surgery. You know, it reminds me of the thing that Charles Barkley always likes to say of the operation was a success, but the patient died. Like, that's what it is. Like, technically speaking, they cut together a movie.
Oh, it was for sure.
The patient died.
Dude, I mean, this is one of those ones where it sounds counterintuitive, but if they have an award for best editor, they should nominate whoever did this. Because
I mean, that's what they did with Bohemian Rhapsody, because Bryan Singer wasn't on set half the time, and so they had to cut a bunch of bullshit together.
Yeah, like this feels like whoever was in an editing bay came out of that like a doctor out of surgery and like wiped their forehead of sweat and was like, he'll live, but he won't live well, but he'll live. And that was the movie. Cause I just feel like they was in that bad boy, like, give me 5 cc's of Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah. That's what I was
gonna say. Somebody pass me some the leader from the Hulk movie. We fucking
and let's not use the regular original design we had.
It's
let's
like we needed to actually do a leader transplant because the body's original one was failing, so we actually got a donor.
Do we got any Hulk? We got some red Hulk. Okay, we'll make it work.
Yes.
We have to put you on some some suppressants of your white blood cells because your body won't accept the leader that we gave you because it's not that good.
And by the way, we have to give you an entire serum of exposition. So every time President Ross goes, Betty, my daughter, like, dog, we know.
And then the biggest conceit of the movie, or the biggest thing that hurts the movie, it's just not about Sam.
No, it's not.
Nothing in there really is about him. He has no love interest. he doesn't really have an arc as a character where like he's
No.
learning a lesson. He doesn't go
All
on a
that shit they
journey.
cut. All that shit they cut out. All that shit
Yeah,
they cut.
and you
They
know
cut it out.
the thing that truly damns the film is that the hottest minutes in the film is him and Bucky. That like
Yeah.
my audience sat up when Bucky came in, and I'm like, that's a bad sign because Bucky ain't in this movie.
No.
Like,
It's really like the thing about it is like I actually don't even think Anthony Mackie's the problem with the movie, and
No.
that is big for me to say given the things that I've said about Anthony Mackie on the show. I
right.
think that he's actually like fine. It's just like they're
Yeah.
not really with what's left in the movie. He isn't playing anything.
You know what
the
it
thing about
is,
Anthony
Jake?
Mackie is he can be compelling on screen.
Jake, you know what it is? Anthony Mackie is Jalen Hurts. That's it. He's not the problem, but you can tell that they directed this movie like it would be the problem.
No, they directed it like a Kyle Shannon, Jimmy G fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Nothing but zone reads. Nothing but zone
Yeah,
reads.
dog. They was like, yeah, man, let's not even pass. Like, let's just go ahead and hand that bad boy off.
It's just very frustrating that we joke about Anthony Mackie having the bit where he has like a secret or whatever, but when he's actually effective, he is channeling that. Like that's his bit is that he's kind of a little bit of a shit. And like they're like, no, you're gonna be the stoic Captain America. And I think the big problem for the MCU going forward is I think that's a problem with this movie, but I also think that that's the thing that Anthony Mackie believes he's capable of doing, and that's unfortunate. Right. I'm like, dude, I actually think you're capable of doing stuff, but you are not capable of being stoic.
They should lean into his humor. Like I think that would be something that actually would work.
He's it's so weird that he like I'm telling y'all, he is genuinely funny in Twisted Metal. I know it's hard to believe. He is.
No, I believe it because he's funny in other stuff.
Right. Yeah. It is super weird that in a quippy ass superhero universe, they give him the straight man treatment. He should be the funny guy.
Man. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, it would be nice.
Yeah, like Soulja Boy requested on his song report card, we threw some D's on that bitch, but continue.
Oh shit!
Sorry, I mean that you want to talk about me showing off my age? That is like I think that was a song that only people who were 12 in 2000 whatever.
Wow, right? that is a reference. Let me tell you. And yes, we move on to something I would say is probably a little bit better. Thunderbolts. Rod, how are you feeling about Thunderbolts at the end of the year?
Man, honestly, dude, I don't give a fuck what nobody say. This joint was an A+ for me, man. I cried in the theater. I really like. I don't
talk about it.
They can never take this away from me. I'll be seeing people try to downplay this movie. I'm like, like whatever. Like, Marvel didn't even do nothing this year. I was like, to you, they did something to me. Damn it, it's real to me. Those characters were so well fleshed out. It was so funny. I mean this in the highest compliment. It's kind of like they did a James Gunn, like in that the way that I cared about these characters that were flawed. And man, it's cooking when a group hug brings you to tears. That's when I'm like, oh, y'all did it. Y'all. That's all I asked for movies, and y'all pulled that off. So yeah, A+ for me, man.
I mean, no surprise here. I said I've been saying it as the time's gone. I'm like, it's creeping up. I haven't done a new ranking in a while, but it's gonna be high. I love this movie at A+. I think that it just every time I go back, and I think after Fantastic Four, which I will have a good grade for, but it just raised my estimation about it. Because the thing is, I mean, seeing so many people talking online about in the context of the Doomsday teasers stuff, what movies they should have done instead between Endgame and Doomsday Secret Wars. And the thing is, Thunderbolts is the platonic ideal of the movie that you want them to make. You take characters that were on the board already, that never really got a massive spotlight. A lot of them were not respected, were not in great movies. You put them all together and you give them all big character moments. You rehabilitate all of them and you put them in a position to be in big movies going forward. People who are complaining about newer characters or side characters not being set up and put in a good position before Doomsday and Secret Wars need to say that they love Thunderbolts, because that's exactly what the movie did. I say that as if like that because that's what I did in the context of the MCU, but that's not why I love the movie. I love the movie because, as Rod said, like it is a movie about misfits in a way that, like, it's not like it's not in the same way with Guardians. Like those are new characters. Like these are characters that like they are actually misfits in the MCU. Like we actually, other than Yelena, it's like who gives a shit about Ghost? Who cares about Red Guardian? Who cares? Like we don't care about these characters because they were kind of misfits. But it's like I love that so much of the text of the film is these characters know they're misfits. They they know that their station in the universe that the movie takes place in is the way that the audiences feel about them. And so their redemption in the story of the movie is the redemption that we feel towards them. And I just think that it's so well acted. I think it looks great. And the thing that's just so wonderful about it is, there's obviously the big Bob fight scene, and there's the people disappearing, but there's no portal in the sky. There's no random aliens that show up for bullshit. It's like the conclusion of the movie, like the big action set piece at the end, is Florence Pugh on a wire jumping over some shit and then giving a guy a hug. There's no random bullshit. It's just like, yeah, because that's what the story is. It really feels like the most. It just feels so self-assured in a way that the criticism I would have that applies to I think both to Brave New World, definitely a lot of the TV stuff recently, and I think to some extent what we'll talk about at the beginning of Fantastic Four First Steps, that like there's none of the self-doubt that the MCU's been plagued with. There's no one being like, is this going to work? It's like, no, this is going to work. These characters work, and man, I'm just so excited to see these characters on screen. And that's not a thing I would have said about all of them. I would have said that about Yelena, but none of the other ones beforehand. So shout out to this movie. I love this movie. I'm glad Rod and I were sipping Mai Tais on Thunderbolts Island. I don't know if AC is going to join us. Let's figure it out.
I feel like this is pretty easy for me. I go A+ myself, and it's mainly because I just think there are certain times when a story comes and you get the emotion to a point where you really, really care. Like the Yelena character has been through a lot, and I think the way that they took her through this, and I was like, oh, okay, so they are making making Florence Pugh front and center of this is the biggest A++++ decision that they made to start the film, because it allowed her to get out in front in terms of the marketing. It made me even more intrigued and wanted to see it because of how excited she was, and I think her character kind of provided that energy that radiated off of everybody else. And then it allowed the entire story to coalesce in a way that you enjoyed. And Jake said it. They gave you the superhero moments. They gave you the Sentry fight. The Sentry fight, by the way, that is a fucking amazing. Like if you watch it back, just watch it back. Like I'm doing a whole like rewatch from Infinity War all the way through as we go to Doomsday over the next year. But when I get to Thunderbolts again, that's one of the best just beatdowns in MCU history. It's just
it's so well
done.
realized. Like it's so legible. It doesn't, because so many MCU fights, even in good movies, become illegible or become too like, obviously it's very CGI heavy, but it's so clear what's happening. And I just love the way that you can tell that there was so much thought into it. It was not like we'll figure out later how it's going to look. It's like, no, they knew how every frame of that was going to look as they were shooting it.
Yeah.
And also, I think also at the same time, I think there's a real examination of depression. There's like a real legitimate examination from everybody's perspective of what that looks like, and then specifically of the Sentry and the Void and what that all means, and how all of these characters are affected by that, and how they look at each other, and how they look at the world, and how the world views them. And then it takes you to a point where Yelena talking to Red Guardian on the street and her breaking down and crying, I think is just it's a superstar moment. Like it's like one of those things that when you see it for the first time, you're like, holy shit. And then when they all hug each other at the end, that's some real it goes beyond powers of friendship. It's just it's really just fucking genuine.
It's also,
and that's that's what this movie is, genuine.
It's also a through line morally and narratively that is just so smart, because you take this for years. The biggest knock on the MCU has been like, why the fuck they always make the bad guy like 1 degree off of the good guy. And it's like, I like that stuff, right? That's just the empathy. I'm an empath. Put it in my veins, right? If you one different choice for you,
Amen.
one different thing, and we could all be different. I don't like to just give up on people, but years of humanizing bad guys, quote unquote, comes to fruition in this movie because everybody's a bad guy essentially in this film, and them being the team that doesn't just kill the Void or whatever, send him to some foreign place where he can't get back. Them being the ones that help him redeem himself. That's that high. That the pen is on fire when you're writing like that. So, like, you feel it come together at the end because you start to go, oh, they're gonna have to kill him. Like, and you don't blame him. You're like, dude is just like making people turn to fucking dark powder. He gotta go. And then they're like, nah, dog, we're gonna save him, bring everyone back. And when he's chilling in the headquarters at the end, you're kind of like, yeah, I'm not here because I want to see the powers of the Void come back. I just want Bob to be able to chill with the crew and like have a family. Yeah. That's a fucking movie now.
Yeah. And I think that's something that's so crucial about them saving him at the end is Steve Rogers is an extremely empathetic person. Bruce Banner is empathetic, and I mean maybe, but like Steve Rogers specifically and other heroes like that, or Steve Rogers and Peter Parker, two of like the best heroes, they would not have been able to help Bob because they've never been there. They've never been there. Like the only heroes that the Thunderbolts thought that they were misfits and that they were not equipped to save the day, but it turns out that only they could save the day in this instance.
Yes,
and that, as you just said, that's a fucking movie. That is the thing. If you're gonna have a universe with a million superheroes in it, every villain needs to be that only these heroes could have done it.
Yes.
If the MCU is smart, I do think if you're gonna call them the New Avengers, hey, put them New Avengers into action, like multiple sequels. Like this is a team that you want to see on the screen, like personally, because they can give you the fights and they can also give you the emotions. And I think that's the biggest thing. Like when you could. The thing that people have been talking about, what this has lacked over the last few years, is the ability to care about these characters. And this movie made me care, and that's the biggest part, and why this movie succeeds so much. But so yeah, we are A+ across the board on Thunderbolts. Shoot, almost make me want to watch it again immediately. And finally, Fantastic Four: First Steps. Rod, what say you, sir?
I think you mean Fantastic Four.
Oh yes, what a score, man! What a score!
Yeah, honestly, man, I have seen the critiques of it. I listened to some podcasts that are more down on it than I am, and I respect the critiques, like they're valid or whatever. But I feel like this shit was kind of a palate cleanser, and I think that was the purpose it wanted to serve more than necessarily even it just had a lot of work cut out for it, man. I think I'll give it a B+, if not probably a solid B, closer than a B+, but something like that. Like it's good. It's anything that I truly felt was lacking is really more of a confluence of decisions they had to make based on decisions that were made before they touched this property. Meaning like, damn, we don't want to do this depressing storyline again because it's been done 3 times. And if we do the Reed feels guilty about, turning Ben into the Thing, if we do it too much, then it just becomes like the other sad ass movies and shit. The other reason I'm giving a B+, I think the degree of difficulty on Fantastic Four is higher than people admit. Like everyone thinks it's so fucking simple. I read those books. It is not simple. Those are the goofiest motherfuckers in the comic book world.
1000%.
And translating them to a grounded reality is very hard compared to other characters. Like if you go look at the Avengers, one of the reasons the Avengers works as a concept from the beginning with Iron Man is that they're all grounded heroes because that's what was left because they sold everything, all the fantastical shit away. So other than like Thor, they kind of had to start low and be like, nah, we do have billionaire warmongers in America, in the world that exists. World War I and II did happen, that kind of shit. So all that to say, I thought this did a great job of by taking you out of the MCU we know, putting you on a planet that, my fan fiction is they never had slavery, where these people
Honestly, still a
truly.
great take. One of the best takes you've ever had on the pod.
Incredible.
Thanks, man. Because
Incredible.
it's the only way I can make it make sense. But it's a world where everyone kind of trusts each other in a moment where we're in a world where no one trusts each other. And that connected with me, and I felt that was a brave choice that was more conscientious than people gave it credit for. A lot of people treated it like they just did it to make it like simple writing. And I don't think so. I think they were saying this is an aspirational thing. What if we trusted each other? We could stop Galactus if we just fucking could if you could turn off the power for an hour every night. Look what we be capable of as humans. And if someone went, hey, we all need to get underground, this mole man's gonna take care of you, and you went, all right, that we don't live in that world, but god damn it, I wanted to for 2.5 hours last summer. So I give it a B plus, man. I really did like this joint, and like I said, I completely respect the people that couldn't get into it, but I could.
Yeah, salute to that perspective. And Jake, how about you?
I'm between a B plus and an A minus, and I'll say A minus, mostly because my issues with it are things that weren't there. There's basically nothing on screen in the movie I didn't like. I just wish that there was more fun stuff at the beginning. That's been my complaint the entire time. I really like the characterizations, and I think the thing for me is that, like, as I've said, the number one task for this movie is to put over the 4 characters. And yes. I think to varying degrees, I think they were successful in all of them. Because like that is like that's the big task, that like these characters are the first family of Marvel, and they need to make them the first family of the MCU. And so if there's a weak link, and I think that they just didn't give Ben that much to do, but like there's no character where I'm like, this character's lacking. I wish that they did something differently with them. So I'll keep it brief. I like the, the all together stuff. I liked the tone, even if it was not as fun as like the Fantastic Four is on the page. I like the retro choice. Like, I think that so many of the good things about it are the choice to make it both a different universe and retro. And yeah, I enjoyed it. It was pretty significantly my second favorite MCU movie of the year, but it definitely was like, it checked enough boxes for what I was looking for from the Fantastic Four movie, and it was a good time at the movies. I mean, it was, I thought that there was a lot of fun stuff, and I'm interested in seeing these characters interact again. Like that was the thing too, is that their interactions as a family went across. Like it did not feel like it felt like these are people who spent time together. It didn't feel like, wait, why are we? Going back when we watched the old ones, it just was like, these characters are not a family. Yes. These are not. Like, I just don't believe that these characters spend time with each other. Whereas these characters, I'm like, yep, they all wear like matching sweaters. They eat Sunday night dinners together. Yeah.
I think other iterations of it have made it so that people couldn't think of a way to make them a family other than to make them hate each other and then come together at the end. And that fucking sucks. Because you spend 75% of the movie just thinking everyone is acting like an asshole. And I didn't feel that at all this time. Like, I earnestly was rooting for each character, and then I did forget to mention that fucking awesome action scene with Silver Surfer chasing them.
The high point of the movie, bruh, yeah, the high point of the movie.
That's Fantastic Four. You're giving birth. You're like that's Fantastic Four, bro. For that 10 minutes, I wasn't breathing. I was just in the theater, like, what the fuck? Nah, how they gonna get out of this? That's the shit, man. And you give me that, I can let a lot of stuff go. And then huge Galactus, like that's Galactus.
He was so big. He was so big.
Like Howard Bryan made a great point when we did the review, of course. Yes, you want somebody sometime to just gawk at him. But bro, I was in the audience gawking at him. I got us. You know what I mean? I'm gawking, bro. That joint was good.
Yeah. I know. I couldn't agree with you more. I think great point you made, Rod. I have B+ too. Great point you made about that scene. That scene is just like, oh wow, this is like the thrill ride. This is like the thing that you was looking for. Definitely the high point of the movie for me. Jake's point about the characters all getting over mattered more to me than the story personally, and I think they succeeded. I thought each member of the family worked for me. I feel like they can work for me. And I just imagined a world where Adam Driver and the rest of who was originally supposed to be
What, Adam
cast.
Driver, Jennifer Lawrence? Well, Jennifer Lawrence said no.
No, it wasn't
Right.
Jennifer Lawrence. It was what's
Margot
her
Robbie?
Margot Robbie.
Yeah,
Margot Robbie.
Adam
Wow.
Driver, Margot Robbie, Paul Mescal was going to be,
Paul
Wow.
Mescal
and
was
then
going to be
who
Johnny,
was
and Daveed
Daveed
Diggs.
Diggs? Yeah,
Yeah,
Wow.
that was supposed to be Ben. Yeah,
Yeah.
that
Daveed
was
Diggs
the
is gonna be
original.
Ben?
yeah.
Yes,
Whoa.
yes, that was the original four. I remember, and they was in that was in heavy for the rumors for a long time, and then it just didn't work out, and then that's when you started to hear
We
about Pedro.
dodged a bullet, bro. We really dodged a
Yeah, like
bullet with
I
that.
think that there are different. Like I think that there is a version of the Fantastic Four with Adam Driver as Mr. Fantastic that is interesting, but it's not one that I want to see in the MCU. Because I actually don't want that character to interact with fucking Spider-Man. I mean, I don't want like Sue, you have to understand when I do these calculations. I do these calculations, and you don't understand them. You don't understand they're in my head, and they're to save our child from Galactus. Your idiot brother. Look what I did to Ben.
I did not have this impression on my bingo card today. Thank you for that, Jake.
He'd be breaking them out sometimes.
That was good.
I don't think it's actually that accurate, but I
But no, I felt the vibes. It was you were sending out the Adam Driver vibes, and I was receiving them, and I was seeing him do that shit in my head, and it wouldn't have hit
the one I do think would have been a lateral. I think that Paul Mescal would have been a lateral move, but I was surprised by Joseph Quinn. I didn't think he had this in him, and I was really surprised by him.
Yo, salute to see. It's so funny. Once I seen him in Stranger Things, I was like, yeah, I think he could kind of pull that shit off a little bit. So let me see if he can, and he did. He was really good. I think he did a really good job.
And
as did everybody else.
And I want to shout out Pedro Pascal too, because
yes,
I mean he's always good, but he's like, and he's always different. But like this version of Smart is just something that you just don't see. Like I'm sure the writers get a lot of credit here too, but they normally to show Smart, it's just a bunch of big words, and then they throw quantum between every noun and shit.
In like the last 15 years, it's all Jesse Eisenberg as Mark Zuckerberg in the court. Like that's what Smart is, right?
Right. And it's like unrelatable, kind of an asshole, no emotional intelligence, that kind of thing. And they just didn't go that way with Reed, and it felt like he like where he was unrelatable was more like because I'm thinking constantly of how to solve the world's problems, not because I'm just a fucking dick who can't be bothered to be a good father. Like they could have, like he was a part of that family, and that's something that I don't think they always pull off in these iterations of Reed. Sometimes he feels like he's out of a separate, like he's not even in the family. And this one felt like, no, that's Sue's husband. That's you know, that's Ben's homie. That's like, this dude this is a real guy, even if he is a bit aloof. So I love the illustration of Smart. And I just want to mention too, one of my favorite scenes is something just doesn't even take place on screen, but when he talks about how he has shut down every supervillain in New York to prepare for the baby, and they're just sitting on they're just sitting on a balcony. He's like, yes, I already got this person and that person and this, and I like that they didn't show it, because I'm like, that's how fucking smart he is.
That's what's gonna be fun. I mean, like it just like translate it going forward. Like I'm very excited to see that these characters not only interact with everybody else, but Reed and Doom. Like that's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to seeing what that looks like going forward. But yes, 2025, as we always find out, people who complain about the MCU every year, when you go back and you actually look, you say, huh, not that bad. Not that bad at all. You may have a clunker here or there, but overall, I'd say based off of our grades, it wasn't too shabby in terms of an MCU year. This has been fun. Wonderful discussion as always. I just want to quickly say to the audience, thank you for rocking with us and watching, listening, all that stuff, enjoying it. We've had a really fun year. A funny year. We've had some great episodes over the course of this year. Just a lot of characters coming through here, and having a great time. And just want to say thank you everybody for supporting and all that good stuff. And as I said, we will have a wonderful Road to Doomsday to kick off 2026, as it will be the year of Doomsday, Spider-Man returning to the fold. A lot of different and fun things happening in the MCU and outside of the MCU, with some of the DCU stuff too that will be involved in too. So very excited for that. And I want to say to our guest and our friend Rod, Rod, you're like our de facto third, to be honest. Like in a lot of ways, you just kind of like fit in like a glove over these past couple of years, and I just want to say thank you, because
Man, thank y'all,
you
man.
make
Thanks for
our show
having me.
better and so much fun.
It's always a good
Nothing.
time, man. Like I said, I don't talk to people about nerd stuff often because I feel passionate, and then also it just feels like being down on everything is like the trend. You know, it's like
Yeah,
I didn't get into
definitely
this
the
to be
trend.
depressed, dog. Like I got into this to have fun, and you guys know how to have fun. You got a real fun audience, and I've met so many cool people through y'all. You know, Jake with the marathons that he's done, and just popping in one of those. So yeah, man, thank y'all for having me, man. And look, I wouldn't be here if I didn't have a good time. So that's why, you know, you guys doing something, I'm always like, hey, if I can make the time, I'm gonna be there.
Hell yeah.
Salute. And with that being said, Rod, tell us where we can find you, sir.
So if you're on the Patreon, the Blackout Tips, we're on Patreon now, so make sure you guys support there. And then Rodimus Prime on Twitter, I'm there till it's ashes, till it's fire.
Till the
and
only
ash.
acceptable language is Afrikaans.
Exactly. That's it. I'm there until the only
Salute.
replies I get are just racist bots. I'm gonna be the last man standing, like Marvel Zombies. But yeah, and then everywhere else on social media, just the Black Guy Who Tips or Rod TBGWT. So you guys, thank you for having me, and thanks to your listeners for letting me cook.
Of
course. Amen to that. And Jake?
At the J Christie on Twitter, at the J Christie on TikTok. I'm currently in the process of bulk recording my TikToks for my Christmas trip. You might be people like, oh, Jake, why don't you just take off? And it's like, I do a tweet every day. I don't understand. Because part of it is like, when I get to episode 1,000, I want to be able to say, without having to do any counting, I've covered a tweet for 1,000 consecutive days. And if I take 7 days off, I have to be like, wait, no, I took a break. And so anyway, I'm going to keep doing these tweets. Yeah, I have 4 more to do before I fly home. And yeah, follow me there. And I'm also on Blue Sky at jchristie.bluesky.social. But I'm mostly still on Twitter when it comes to posting bullshit, because Blue Sky is just the vibe. Like when I want to tweet, for example, I'm about to tweet. Every time I see the phrase "beans on toast," I want to read it to the tune of Duran Duran's "Girls on Film," and doesn't go on Blue Sky. If I don't go "beans on toast," "beans on toast," that's not a Blue Sky thought. So I gotta still be on Twitter.
That's not Blue Sky is definitely season 4 of The Wire, the first episode, where Naaman goes like, everybody all friendly and shit, and they just stay that way, and it never stops. Everybody stays that way, but Twitter is just Tej and nonsense.
Yeah, that's the thing. I can't. Tej is in such fucking rare form. It's unbelievable how much shit and it's
the dove emojis and the fucking rabbit with the clock
and or the shaking the head smoking the duck.
He is
and the amount of times that he'll quote tweet the most foul thing I've ever seen in my life with WTF is this, and I'm like, I don't need to see that. You could have replied that. You didn't need to quote tweet that. Why is it in my feed?
Tej has become a character inside this universe and outside this universe. Tej has his own universe. He has his own the Tej cinematic universe. The TCU. That's exactly what it is. Oh my god! Salute to him. You can follow me on Twitter at AnthonyCanton_3. Follow the show on all platforms. If you are a Patreon subscriber, don't worry. We will have some Patreon content over the holiday season. So you'll get a couple of things and a couple of goodies over that time period. And we will be back on the main feed in the new year. So I want to wish everybody happy holidays and joy and all of that good stuff. And thank you for rocking with us. Keep rocking with us. And we're going to make 2026 the year of Doomsday. And with that being said, for Rod and Jake, I am Anthony Canton III. This has been Marvel Cinematic University, and we will talk to you next time in 2026.